what metrics are people not getting? Like, what are some of the issues that you're seeing that people are sort of complaining, or telling you, gosh, I wish I knew more about this with streaming measurement?
No, I think one of the things with streaming measurement is, we want to get down to the user or the household, and we want to know that that person's holding that device, and we're just not there yet. And I think what I've been waiting on is the technology to catch up. We have the dream, the technology is getting there. I was doing some work with AWS over the last few months in different areas where the processing power of the log level data and so forth that would allow you to do a lot of this, it's getting there, and it's getting to the price point that publishers can engage, with advertisers and actually have a coherent conversation. But I think a lot of companies, it was Nielsen, and even Arbitron was in TV ratings a long time ago. There was a battle back then, but it was far more arduous to get these, the technology out. Now you have so many companies from Nielsen to Samba, T-Vision, all these different players in the space, and specs are great, but there's interpretation of that, right? So as much and who's incentivized to get to, you have NBC going out there with what they have with the one platform and so forth, getting everyone together, but those consortiums have to have money behind them, and what's going to drive those folks, and everyone's driven for different reasons. So I think it's coming together. I'm very pragmatic about these things, though, just because the tech is catching up.
Excellent. Julie, as a publisher, what are some of the issues that you guys are seeing? Like, what are some of the stats you're like, oh, I wish I had that to tell people?
Yeah, so I mean, like, no question, there's been a seismic shift in the industry in terms of how we keep up with consumer expectations as well on these platforms. And I think publishers, platforms, programmers have been chasing after that customer journey. And so when we think about the ways in which we can create better experiences in these environments, both for advertisers and our fans, we want to think about, what is really engaging them? What are we're obviously a massive passion point, and people are highly engaged in this platform. And so attention has sort of been a really big hot topic for us, and I think in our clients, and really looking at ways in which we can measure the attention on our platform. And, as we sort of talked about, there's many providers that are able to measure attention. We're actually doing a test case in the UK. We've worked with T-Vision extensively and seen some really great growth and measurement there in terms of like over time, a quarter, looking at 3 different verticals, and the way that our consumers really engage with our content and ad and then back. So I've sort of been more focused on the attention piece because I think it's a really meaningful measurement, and it kind of goes beyond the reach and frequency piece.
I'm sorry, can you explain what attention is? Like, just because not everybody
Oh, yes.
with it. Yeah.
So eyes on screen, and, engaged in content. And then, so for example, the T-Vision study really showed that in even this co-viewing environment as well, that each individual had eyes on screen during content, during the ad, and then back to content. So it even shows that this sort of premium environment delivers on ad receptivity as well.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, Erin, one of the things I've heard from people is that they find that sometimes it's hard with all these different measurement, that we don't have this sort of one Nielsen anymore, that it's hard to do apples to apples comparison, that they're getting different metrics from different people, which are all great metrics, but they're like, how do I sort of match these up so it makes sense? Are you finding that as well?
Yes, very much so. Advertisers are looking for, I'm so glad Julie mentioned engagement. They're looking for engagement metrics. They're looking for outcomes in their CTV advertising. They'd like to have attribution. And one of the holy grails is to understand cross-platform effectiveness, to have visibility into their buys across the different streaming providers, across the different both CTV and linear TV. So that has been very difficult, and it is one of the major asks of advertisers.
Great, great. And Christina, are you finding that attention is, for Estrella's customers, is attention something that they are very concerned with? And what are some of the other big asks that you're getting in terms of measurement?
Yeah, I think actually the 3, CJ, Julie, and Erin, touched on a lot of really good points. And I think there's an opportunity for both the buy side and the sell side to work closer together. I find that right now there is a bit of a schism in terms of what are the definitions? What are these actual metrics? What is actually important? Like what does an outcome even mean, right? And so I think that there's a definitional opportunity in the industry right now to define like what do those even mean to each partner of ours, to make sure that as a publisher we can accommodate what the buy side wants to have and vice versa. And then to CJ's point, technology is incredibly important, and technology is not only catching up, but we're finding out ways on how to use this type of technology based on the plethora of data that we're collecting. And so I think that there is a huge opportunity right now where we need to work together, not in disparate pieces. We need to we need to make sure we share information, share data across many different systems. Whereas right now, a lot of companies, a lot of technology is behind walled gardens. And so I think that if we were to open up these walled gardens, it would allow for a lot more of this data and the experts in each of their respective fields to really take a play at what is important, what are these outcomes, and how do we make sure we provide them to our end user.